Welcome back, everybody. Rudy with Alpha Investments. And a couple weeks ago, we did a video based around the topic of the reserve list should be expanded. And that was a carefully engineered video. There was a basic premises to it. And the theory behind that video was, while the voice of a few are very loud, that of course, abolish the reserve list, burn everything down, let's riot, burn cars, break buildings, blah, blah, blah. The majority of people, don't say much. And I was really, really curious if we all really felt that way. And I had put my bet and my instinct on that. On a video that, let's say, gets 50,000 views, I expected, only usually 10% to 20% of people even do the thumbs up, thumbs down on the YouTube video. Personally, I don't really, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't really care about the thumbs up, down thing. I don't really understand the importance of it. It doesn't seem to mean anything. So, if 10% of 50,000 people vote, I guess you could say, on a video about expanding the reserved list, that means about 5,000 people should reply. I expected if 5,000 people are willing to click that thumbs up, thumbs down button, I expected about 4,000 thumbs down, 1,000 thumbs up. Kind of a 20% agree, 80% disagree type of mentality. And when you hit about 5, 10, 20,000 people and then 50,000 views, I think you start getting to a more realistic sample size where, any form of poll or chart or information starts to have a little bit more validity, credibility, and, it starts to kind of even out that variance. But then again, you only attract certain types of people that are willing to watch someone as scummy as me on YouTube. So again, you are always going to have some form of bias, and it's never going to be 100% accurate. Whatever, moving on. So the point was, I was very surprised with the results. I thought for sure everybody would not agree with that. While I still stand by, I agree with it, and I think I would, if hell froze over, and for some reason I was running a Wizards of the Coast type of empire, and the ivory tower with their fancy little windows, I would run things very differently. I'm a really big fan of short-term sacrifice for long-term gain and long-term slow residual effects and slow, very minuscule growth and very calm, steady growth. I don't like parabolic growth. I don't like things that exponentially climb to the ceiling. I don't like things that crash. I don't like volatility. It makes the public and people uneasy. I have a very different approach to things on long-term business and investing. So, I didn't think people would really understand that perspective. And to my major surprise, between the hundreds and hundreds of people that sent me private messages, the patrons, and even the comments section, while I have the typical comments and the typical trolls that say things like, Rudy, just die, this and that, you're the worst thing that ever happened, you should go kill all the BS typical toxic magic typical community type of comments you see on YouTube, Reddits, and message boards. And it's like on Reddit, if somebody says my name, you get instantly banned. It's hilarious. So, but why did so many people not disagree with that? It was really weird. It was I thought for sure, the majority of the player base in Magic are players, regular kitchen table people who want to play it. Why would they be okay with the concept of, investing in evil things? And why would they be okay with that type of approach? It really did not reflect the results that I really had guided the direction for. And I to this moment, I'm really still unsure of that, which is why you guys have a follow-up video. And I was thinking about it the last few weeks, letting the video really settle and just kind of go off into the distance. And it kind of hit me, and I said, when I look at how many people are selling their collections, specifically standard modern collections, specifically actually modern, because obviously standard is more of the rotation game, but modern isn't. And when I see just the record setting every week over week of more and more contacts and people that are reaching out to me to sell their modern type of collection, not their vintage, that's very rare. And then when I have the game stores, these random stores across the country and even the world, send me messages telling me, Rudy, our F&N attendance is down 30%, 60%, 55%, 71%, 32%. There is an overall consistent theme to what's going on. And while one thing we can all agree on, I don't think 30-40% of Magic players are women. Number two, the next thing we can agree on is I don't know if Magic really dropped 8 million players because I don't ever think it was really that high, no matter what terms and construct you want to use with it. Number three, and the most important of all, the number one thing, I think we can all agree on one consensus, and that is Magic is not growing. It is not going upwards. We can all argue about how fast we think the falling knife is going to the ground, and that's fine. That just shows we're all looking in the same direction. We just disagree on details. That's cool. Whatever, man. We can touch each other, fondle, I don't care, slap yourself in the face. It's the same shit. But the thing that really stands out is not one person of all these game stores around the country that are sellers, collections, older, younger, not one of these people are literally saying, Rudy, I want to sell this collection because Magic is doing so well. Magic is growing so much. Hey, Rudy, at my local store, here's a picture. We have record-setting attendance. That's the one thing that everybody's on the same page of. And for everyone to be on the same page that attendance is not at record highs and growing upwards, that's the most important factor of it. So when we go back to the reserved list, and I talk to these people, why are you selling your $5,000 modern collection, your $10,000 collection, your $500 collection, your $200 collection, your $50 deck? Why are you selling it? And no, the answer is not the majority of these people say, Rudy, quite frankly, the reprints, I'm losing all my money. Most people don't say that. Most people don't care about the reprints. Most of these players are just like, yeah, they're reprinting it. I know, the deck's worth $2,000. Now it's worth, $800 to $1,000. I've lost half the value. Whatever, Rudy, it's worth $800. Just give me like $400 and we're good. While most people understand that, they're not super angry about it. Maybe as much as someone like me, or if young Rudy and young Timmy, if I spent 10 grand on a modern collection with all these modern staples, and it was worth $3,000, I would be pretty upset on losing that kind of money. That would be a game changer for me. But most people don't seem to be that concerned about that, and that's intriguing to me. And based on that mindset is the reason why I also thought most people would not agree with expanding the reserved list or, some sort of, just keeping it intact plus doing something in addition. It was just a really bizarre thing. So why did most people agree, at least according to my results, at least what people were saying to me, or at least they claim to say, whether it's true or not, I don't know. Why did people seem to be so receptive to that idea? And I think it really came down to one basic thing. And I don't think it was people were unhappy with the reprints. People were unhappy with their game store. I think it was because people were unhappy with the quantity of reprints, the extreme nature of the products being delivered. I've never seen a time where game stores actually are getting so much WotC product that they are literally playing hopscotch and we're all skipping and we're jumping over certain products. And then we'll go back to those products one day when they're on clearance. And, that alone is just that's a major red flag, you guys. That alone should be a big enough red flag to make all of us kind of step back and say, I don't know, you guys, maybe we should really calm the F down, And I've been watching the price guide. I got on my price guide. I've been looking at everything. I said, damn. Bazaar of Baghdad just broke $18 a card. $18! Magic is clearly in a bubble. Library of Alexandria at the same time broke $145 a card. And what's funny about it, Bazaar of Baghdad went down from 20 to 18 because it was overpriced. And Library is going up to a whopping 145. And as we all know, June of 1998, we know it was a big bubble. Looking forward to today when Bazaar of Baghdad is, I think, $3, so you should have definitely sold at $18. I think we all know that by now. So the thing is, with the prices and the money continuing to funnel in that direction, and all the new young players, and all these young collectors and newer people to the game, and they've watched YouTube videos, and they play the game, and they go to their local store, or they play kitchen table Magic, or they play Magic online, whatever direction they're going, are these people who are playing Amonkhet or Hour of Devastation or Ixalan, are these players going to have such a nostalgic connection to iconic masters where in 10 years from now or 20 years from now, when they're older, are they going to want to go back and collect the cards they couldn't afford? Are they going to want to go back and say, yeah, guys, I started in Amonkhet. I'm going to go back and buy the vintage Kaladesh box before it. I'm going to go even older. I'm going to spend big money, and I'm going to buy Shadows over Innistrad. I'm going to buy flipping Eldritch Moon. Are these people going to do that? Why would they do that? They're not going to have a nostalgic connection. They're not going to be old farts like me and the other old guys that are evil investors and collectors. They're not going to go back and treat these sets like that because they're overprinted. They're printed on toilet paper. They curl. The ink is smudged. The foils suck. Everything about them. Why? What would make these people want to go back and experience that? It's not there anymore. And then you go way back to the beginning. 25 years ago to 93, 94. And you have this golden age, original, non-balanced, volatile, vintage, original Magic that nobody knew what the hell was going to happen. With this very specific, uncensored, some of the art is really uncomfortable, and you know what? It's very distinct. You look at it for the first time and you go, whoa, I've never seen anything like that down there. Have you guys ever seen anything like that down there? I mean, I've looked around. I've looked on the internet for pictures, but that is unlike anything I've ever seen. And see, and it etches that image in your head. And when it comes to the reserve list and things like this, I don't think it's really as much about the reserve list as it is about the card itself, the image, the artist, the artwork, and the feel and what it represents of an era and time that doesn't exist, a rarity that truly was rare. Not when a time we had print runs of 500, 600, 700 million. Print runs where, you've got a couple hundred alpha rares maybe left in the world. Arabian Night, U2s and U3s. Even if there's half or a third of them left, you're looking at a couple thousand cards in the world. It's just not hundreds of millions. And see, it's such a different landscape. You cannot compare it. It's not even close to a similar thing. So, this is the follow-up video to the reserve list stuff. I just want to tell people I was shocked. The point of this video was I was shocked at the results. I thought 90% of the people would just not agree, not understand. And to my surprise, a lot of people actually either agreed with it or said, Rudy, I understand your perspective, which I like something similar. I like that concept, but I think it should be like this. I think that's interesting, but it should be tweaked like this. But so many people liked that direction. I don't have the specific answer. I don't know if expanding was exactly right. But the concept of taking it in a different direction was so much more well received. And I don't know if that's just a byproduct of just everything going wrong today. From printing to quality to smeared inks to curved foils to, flipping GameStop having booster packs for 99 cents and these stores just, you have so many things going wrong today. It's really fascinating how the money continues to skip all of it and say F you, and it funnels all the way back to the beginning of 93, 94. Because right now, to sum this video up, which we're going to go into the next one in the next few days or next week, all that money continues to funnel way back to the beginning. And again, creating the largest bull market, by far, strongest market I've ever seen in the original ABU, Arabian Antiquity Legends type of block. The amount of money that continues every day is just the most bullish, aggressive thing I've ever seen. Ever seen. And it continues. And all that money just looks the other way of every single thing else that goes forward that's not old and original. It reminds me of original comic books from the Silver Age. It reminds me of T206, original baseball cards, compared to baseball cards from the 90s, which aren't worth the paper they're printed on. Magic's following the same path. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know what? Bazaar Baghdad at $18. I think we are in a bubble. I'm going to list mine on eBay for $17.99. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are continuing to learn things. Have a fantastic day. Patrons, you are the reason these videos exist. You guys have a great day.